What's up, everybody? I've been getting a lot of comments lately from guys hoping for more Towmaster Pro videos. And after one of my recent ones here, where I was showing off the tone, using it at a rehearsal here, the comments were overwhelmingly awesome. Just about the tone, with people saying how much they loved it. So I'm of course stoked to hear that, and I figured I'd make a video here showing you exactly how I make my main rhythm tone, especially, and the things I think about while I'm doing so. A lot of guys have been asking, how do you create like a metal tone for the Fender Towmaster Pro, which is so versatile. You can do any tones you want, But so, like I said, I'm just going to show you exactly how I set up my tone. You can download it from the cloud right now, kind of go over how to do that as well. Or if you just want to make it from scratch, or just hear about how I think about it so that you can make your own that's suited perfectly for you. So let's get right into that here. Okay, so here we go. This is my main rhythm tone, just signal chain here. But first, let's talk about if you were to go to the cloud, okay? So you go to the Pro Control app, go to the cloud, go to artists, and I'm on here. I got probably like maybe a dozen different ones on here. Where was that? So Harmony, Rob Arnold, main Rob Arnold right here. Okay, so this is the main. And if you were to download this, this is my main here on my pedal board. All the like dozen, I actually have a dozen different tones that I use live. Main, lead, harmony, octave, clean, crunch, main, flange, lead, crunch. And they're pretty much all just based off of this main rhythm tone. So this is one way you can do it. There's so many ways you can use the Fender Towmaster Pro. There's the new scenes thing, which I haven't wrapped my head around yet. But right now, I just have a different preset set up for each of the tones that I use live, like my main and then my lead, which is right next to it. And basically what I do is I create my main tone, and then I just add things onto it for my lead tone. So with my lead tone, it's maybe a little more verb and some delay, but it's my exact same rhythm tone. And then the next patch over, maybe I have some pitch shifting stuff going on for some like leads where I have like some harmonizer effect. It'll be my exact same rhythm tone, just like this, with the addition of some sort of harmonizer pedal and some delay and some verb. All my lead tones, I always have some additional just verb and delay. And then if there's any pitch-based stuff, then I'll use that as well. So if you were to download my main preset right here, right now, it would show up just like this, where I have this kind of split output thing going on right here. That's called the, you go to signal path. I'll go over all this in a sec, but right now I have an instrument split going on, which is, let's get that back to the saved thing here. An instrument split. And I basically set that up originally on my pedal board so that I could have a cab emulated tone going to front of house for my front of house engineer, and then another split that would go to my cabinet on stage. And I could use any combination of that. If my front of house engineer wanted to use my cab sound and just mic that, he could do that. If you wanted the flexibility of having a direct out from the Fender Towmaster Pro with a cab emulation, he can do that. You're probably not going to want this. But if you do, if you're looking to do the same thing, if you're gigging all the time, playing live and stuff like that, then this is a great setup for you right now. I'm going to guess it doesn't have this extension cab in the top split there, because that's something I learned later. I made a whole separate video on this. I think right now it's called, I Got a Call from Fender, where after I had made an original Fender Towmaster Pro video, the guys from Fender actually called me, and I had an awesome Zoom conversation with one of the guys talking about how they had created these sit curves, which were made specifically for people in my situation who were using independent power amps to power a cabinet, specifically solid state. I'm using the Seymour Duncan Power Stage 200, and I wasn't quite getting the realistic amp oomph I wanted out of it, so he recommended putting one of these sit curves on here, which kind of models the impedance of what would be happening between a power amp and a real cab. So that's something, watch that video if you're interested in learning more about that, but you're probably not going to need this thing. So what you want to do when you download my presets to get them to work probably how you want them, which is one of two scenarios, I'm guessing, straight into a computer like I'm doing right now, or through your amp, whether you have a combo amp or a half stack and you're just using the Towmaster Pros like some effects, or however you're going to do it, you're probably not going to want this. And the easy way to get around this is, the first thing you do is, if you download my preset here, you'd go to preset settings, you go to signal path, and you go to the top one, which is the first, like the default instrument series. Hit that, confirm, and it's just going to put everything in line. Now, if it has this extension cab thing, which I don't think it does in my preset, but if it does, you just click on that and go remove. Now we are set up through a cabinet. We got a couple effects going on through this Uber amp I chose. I'm going to talk about all these things coming up here. We're going out through a cab, and it sounds like this. As God is my witness, this is the exact tone that you heard in the video at the very beginning of this, and what I use live and everything. It probably sounds slightly different because in that video, it was an iPhone capturing this signal coming through my PV Invective cab. So it's going to sound different than how I have it going right now, which is straight into my computer through this EVH 5153. So then once I made this, once I deleted the split, I went ahead and just saved this as a new preset just for this video. So it's the exact same thing there, but I just called it main virtual. So this is just a virtual cabinet that we have in here, and you can use any IR you like or any cabinet that you like. And on my original one, I was going with the cap edge 1-inch with an SM57 here, and it sounds like this. So that's actually what you hear in the video. But as I was setting up to make this video, I kind of just started playing around with this, and I found that getting more towards the cap and away from the edge kind of sounded better. Here, listen to this difference. A little more clarity. Definitely darker. And then once I did this, I was like, 1 inch away, I was like, what does a 1/2 inch sound like away? Maybe there's a little more low end with the 1 inch. One of those. Anyways, they all sound fine. Here was the cap edge again at 1 inch. Definitely darker. So I think in the future now, I'm going to use this on the cap instead of the cap edge. But again, maybe my mind's playing tricks on me, because usually when I do this, and how I set up the entire tone was actually through a cabinet. So because we're just hearing it straight into the computer right now, it could be different. So depending on your situation, what you have going on, experiment with that type of stuff to get the best results that you're looking for. I don't know, once I plug back into a cabinet, if I'd continue with this different mic placement. It's very minor. But so that's one other thing that I wanted to keep in mind here. So as I start making my preset here, I just started with an Uber. There wasn't any of these things around it. I just started with a head that I like the sound of. I like metal tones. I wanted like a 6505, a PV 6505, but the only like 5150 emulations they have in here, you know, are the EVH ones. And so I went through all the models of those, and they were cool, but I ended up settling on this Uber. Just kind of liked it the best, felt the best with it. So this is what I started with. And I was setting it up through a cabinet. So had I been doing it in the box, I may have made different choices. So all of those things are things you're going to want to keep in mind as you're setting up your tone or trying to emulate this, that there are variables. Are you running through a cabinet, through a combo amp, right into your computer? Are you miking it up some other way? Are you using one of those Fender cabinets that they kind of recommend to go with the Tone Master Pro? There are some variables, but here's how I did it. I just started messing with knobs like I do any amp, any head that I start with. I just kind of start with everything at noon, and then I just kind of start dialing it in. I like more treble and mid-range. I like bass too, but I tend to roll that back some in anticipation that my bass player on stage, or you know, in the recording or whatever, will fill in that low end. So I tend to not have a lot of bass in my signal. So that sounds pretty good to me. And really, all that is the Uber and maybe this Mega, which looks like a Mesa pedal, Mega EQ that we have going on here. So let's bypass the EQ for a sec. Here's what just the head sounds like. The only other thing going on right now is whatever's happening with this cabinet and this gate, which I just have a little bit on there. Probably makes no difference. Bypassed? Oh, you immediately hear some noise. Does make quite a difference. So just cleans it up having that gate. And of course I have that before the amp. I also have a wah pedal in here, but it's typically bypassed unless I step on it. That's how I have it set up on my board, where it's always bypassed. I have this on every patch, but it's bypassed until I step on it, and then it's engaged. I also threw this tube screamer on here, but I don't really use it. I don't really believe in tube screamers. I do have it active, I think, on my lead channel, which we'll get into. Just, I don't know. I don't think I need it. We'll check that out. We'll bypass it and listen back and forth. So really, that's the only thing happening with my tone right now is the straight up amp. There's a little cloud reverb on here, but you can't even tell. Probably no difference with the bypassed. You can't tell. But on a cranked amp on stage, then you hear it when it's a lot louder. And then I have the mix a lot more. See how my mix is barely nothing here, 7%. So, but I have that a little more in my lead tones, again, which we'll get into. So really, but the point, all this word salad that I'm saying right now is to say that it's really just the Uber head through this EVH cab right now. Now, if we were to engage this EQ, I just thought with these particular settings, which I just messed around with until I thought it sounded good, brought some additional drive, high end, and clarity. Here it is bypassed. Just tighter and more enclosed, not in a good way. It still sounds great, but it opens up. In my opinion, with just a little EQ. So the whole tone is this Uber right here, gain pretty much cranked, volume at like 30%. And the volume with the Fender ToneMaster Pro, there's like a lot of stages to it. There's here at the amp level, there's like the preset level, and there's also the, okay, so amp level here, 100%. It has its own noise gate, but I never use it within the amp. I just like the ISP replication here with the metal gate. So I just use that. I never use the amp's noise gate for the Fender ToneMaster Pro. What was I trying to look at here? The preset settings, preset volume. So 100% amp at do I have that at 100%? No. The amp level. So there's not only the volume, but the amp level, then the preset level, and then on the Fender ToneMaster Pro itself, the master volume. So like I said, there's just a lot of different stages to your gain throughout that you kind of got to work out. But if you download my presets, all that should be set up already, I would think. I don't know if the main overall volume, right now I just have it on 40%. So you just kind of figure that out based on your situation, what your volume is going to be like. But the gain, pretty much cranked here, 90%, treble, 90%, mids, 80%, bass, 25%, presence, 85%. I just like a lot of gain and presence in my tone. And that's it. And that's how I think about it. I start with the head, I just get that dialed in. Then I think, what more might it need? Then I go to the EQ and I put that in and I bring in some things that maybe I kind of just think are missing. And all I'm really trying to do is get to the sound that I like live, but I'm doing it here with this Uber. I played an Uber Shaw for a year or so way back in the day and liked it, but ultimately just dug the 5152s and 6505 sound ultimately for my band Chimera's music. And then the EVH cab, I didn't really have much of a choice with that. There's tons of different cabinets. But I was just like, hey, that one sounds good. And I went with it. I tried some different ones. You kind of go back and forth A, B, and stuff, and you get the one you like. And yeah, that sounded good, but I really don't even use it because I'm going through a real cab. But for these situations, this sounds great to me. Then, like I said, I always put just a tiny bit of verb on my on all my signals, but I increase it for lead stuff. But it's just so it isn't totally dead stop, that it kind of sounds like it is right now. But there's a little bit. We bypass that. Really no difference unless it's cranked. That's okay. It just makes it so it totally isn't super tight. And the noise gate. So gate, head, verb, EQ, cabinet. Simple as that. Anybody can do that. Let's move over to the lead. So with this one, it's exactly the same. The head is exactly the same. The gate is exactly the same. I have this tube screamer starting things out. And so many people are obsessed with these things, and rightly so. Do what's good for you. But for me, just personally, they just seem like a bit of fool's gold. I can never tell. I never say to myself after applying one of these, oh, that sounds so much better. I don't know. I just like my tone without it better. So teach their own. Don't crucify me, bro. But let's hear the difference. So before we hear this difference, the only difference going on in this entire signal chain right now, everything's the same except I have a little more mix, a little more reverb. Look at that difference. From 7%, I believe it was, on my main to 20%. A little bit more. We turn off this delay, maybe we can hear it more. Now we hear that verb. A little bit. Tiny. So that is the only difference except the addition of the studio delay. No delay? Delay. So just a little bit going on there with the delay. Now that we know what's happening with it, let's hear if this tube screamer makes any difference. Here it is bypassed. Engaged. Bypassed. So I don't know. Maybe the tube screamer makes it slightly more lush, you know, but without it it's more articulate. So I'm just not sure, but I left it on here. And look at the blend, 10%. So I'm barely utilizing it at all. I always thought that the tube screamers were meant to just kind of, I don't know, just, some people say tighten up your low end. Some people say it increases it, like in a good way. So I don't know if it's what effect it's having on leads or anything like that. I just have it there barely in there. And I've been happy. And the way to determine that is when you're playing live or actually soloing or in the moment and stuff like that, how does your lead sound react? How do you feel on stage ripping a big note or just playing with your buddies and stuff like that? How does your lead tone make you feel? Do you enjoy it? And if you don't, keep dialing it in so you get the right amount of verb, right amount of delay so that your leads sound just right, you know? So that's pretty much it. Pretty easy. That's, again, how I just think about everything. And if you guys want to hear more about then some of my other ones, so the addition of the harmony here, where I'm using this diatonic pitch shifter, the same with my octave. So there's just some octave sounds, clean, crunch, my pitch shifting, going from right now I'm in drop C, dropping down to drop A and B, some flange stuff. If you're interested in hearing more about that, about the pitch shifting things that I choose and why and how I set that up exactly, I can make more of these videos, but it'll all depend on how many you say, yes, I want an even deeper dive. So, But I think this will get everybody started on the right foot for creating a good metal sound. You know, start with the Uber, start with the 5153s or the Friedman. That was another one of my choices initially. I was going back and forth between the Friedman, what was that one, BBE or something, the Uber, so the EVHs definitely, I checked all those out. FBE 100, so it's like the Friedman version, you know, but there's obviously tons of stuff on here, something for everybody. But for me, it was between the Friedmans, the Ubers, and the EVH 5150s, and they ended up going with the Uber for everything, and it's worked pretty well. I'm still hoping some 6505s replicas will appear on here, and if so, I'll be happy to give them a try. I'm looking for them in every Tone Master Pro update just to see, but maybe they want to try to keep it more in the family rather than going the PV route. I don't know. That sounds not hypocritical. Is that the word I'm trying to think of when we're looking here at an Uber shell, right? So I don't know, but appreciate everybody watching here. I'm super down to make more Fender Tone Master Pro videos, so keep asking for them if you want them. Definitely do me a favor and consider subscribing to the channel if you're new here, and check out some of my other Fender Tone Master Pro videos too if you'd like to learn more. And like I said, I got more on the way. It's a really incredible, just fun piece of gear with so many possibilities. I probably utilize like 10% or less of its ability, you know, so it's a cool thing, and I get to know it more and more every day. I don't know if you can see that there, but got it sitting right here on my board. I'm also gonna do a video right after this one about how to run the Tone Master Pro into Pro Tools like I'm doing now, where I'm also recording this video and my voice and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of a complicated process to figure out, and there was nothing online about it. So I'm gonna make a video about it to be the pioneer of using the Fender Tone Master Pro with Pro Tools directly in as an input. So stick around for that if you'd like to hear more about that if you're a Pro Tools user. I saw Fluff just made the switch. I didn't watch the video, but Pro Tools is what I've used and loved for 25 years or something. No, wait. No, 20 years. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rob Arnold. Again, hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you did, and please explore some more of my videos. I'm here to help. Everything from guitar maintenance, the tone stuff, plugins. You want it, I got it. I'm not going anywhere. Cheers, everybody. See you on the next one.